I've watched the first 2 episodes of the Michael Jordan docuseries, The Last Dance. I know that technically it's about the 90s Bulls, but let's be honest, we're all there for Michael Jordan. It's phenomenal. And it may not be, I might be wrong about this, but to me, this is the first time I've ever seen Michael Jordan really open up and talk about everything, and it's so cool to watch Michael Jordan, talk about his childhood, talk about playing basketball against his brothers and his experience in high school, and then talking about college. And it's like hearing Michael Jordan's origin story. It's so fun to me. I really enjoy that. Now, the reason why the series is called The Last Dance is because in that 1997 and 1998 season, and by the way, I hate doing that. Like, pick a year. Is it 98 or 97? Which one is it? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call it the 98 season when I refer to it in this video, because I'm so sick of, like, I hate it, like, the 1997-98 season. No, it's the 98 season because it ended in 98. That's when the championship was. Regardless, during that year, Phil Jackson, the head coach of the Bulls, who he knew was going to be his last year there, and this was their 6th and final championship run, and so he called it The Last Dance. This is our last journey, our last trip together. And so the whole episode, the whole television show, it's pretty cool the way it unfolded, because it tells the story of that 98 season, and then it cuts back and forth, between that Last Dance season and then what happened to cause the events that took place in that year. What I mean is, like, you hear the backstory, like, this guy hated this guy and it boiled over in 98, but here's why this guy hated that guy and it happened in 1985. Like, what were the origins behind all the things that bubbled over and pulled apart the Chicago Bulls after the 98 season? It's so interesting, man. I love it. The villain kind of this entire series is Jerry Krause, who was the Bulls general manager. And I mean, he had an ego. He was kind of had a little man complex. I literally say it in the show, where he just wanted more credit. And it seems like his desire to get more credit and get more notoriety is what pulled the Bulls apart in the end, which is kind of sad. Like, for example, he decided that Phil Jackson, who is the greatest coach ever, he's literally won 11 championships in the NBA, 6 with the Bulls, 5 with the Lakers. Jerry Krause didn't want to pay Phil Jackson. It's like, what? What the heck? It's so weird to me. And he never really saw the value of having a coach. He's like, well, the coach is overrated. It's the players. But he also didn't want to pay Scottie Pippen. He has a quote where he said, like, it's an organization that wins a team, not just the players, and the whole thing matters. It's like, it's just kind of weird to me. I don't get why you don't want to pay Scottie Pippen. I don't get why you want to bring back Phil Jackson. And it sounds to me like Jerry Krause was a guy who just really struggled with people skills. He struggled to make the people around him feel like they mattered or like they were valuable. And like, he's dead now. I don't want to say bad stuff about a guy who's dead. And some people, to this credit, some people say he was a great man. He was very kind to his children and very nice and yada yada. But it does seem like Jerry Krause is the reason why the Bulls came apart and fell apart at the end. Now, you also got to give him credit. He's the reason why the team came together. He hired Phil Jackson. He built the roster. He drafted Scottie Pippen. Like, he's the reason why it all came together. But unfortunately, Jerry Krause sounds like also he's the reason why the Bulls fell apart and did not stay together. And I don't know. I just recommend it. I really liked it. I love the show. I felt like early on, I was like, I could feel it building towards something, and I just didn't know. I was like, where is this going? And then you have the moment where, Phil Jackson says, oh, I have The Last Dance, and you go, oh, that's why it's called this. And then I got a rhythm where they kept going, here's what's happening in 1998, but here's the backstory behind it, and that back and forth, I kind of fell into a rhythm. I really liked it. And it's a great show. I just recommend it. It's a 5-week event, which means that there are 10 episodes. And every Sunday, there are 2 new episodes that airs on ESPN, 2 episodes a week. And I just recommend it. It's glorious television, especially when there's not really anything. I mean, there's literally, what other sports are going on? Like, I can't name anything. There's like food competitions, I guess. But it's really fun to hear the origin story of Michael Jordan, where he came from, the trajectory of his career, where he ended up. And he's just so amazing to me. Like, Michael Jordan, the one thing that stands out to me about Michael, when I hear people talk about him, when I hear him talk about his career, when you look back at what happened, he was just a true competitor, like the truest of true pure competitors. The only thing I can think of that reminds me a lot of that actually is Ayrton Senna, who was a Formula One racer. Ayrton Senna was like the best racer of all time. He died, actually, in a race, but he was he just wanted to win. That's all he cared about. He hated the politics. He hated this. He hated that. He just wanted to race and wanted to beat you on the track. And Michael Jordan was the kind of guy, doesn't care if you're trying to tank and get a draft pick, doesn't want this. He just wants to win. Every time he goes out on the court, he's there to beat your ass and try to win. And I think I've never cussed on the show before. Oh my gosh. Well, happened. I really loved that about Michael Jordan. I was like, this is a guy that just gets it. And I really liked it. And I enjoy watching his story, and I enjoy watching Michael Jordan. It's just really cool. I highly recommend it. Go watch The Last Dance. It's phenomenal. In case you don't know, Strong Opinion Sports is not just a YouTube channel. It is also a full audio podcast. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play, pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. And if you like podcasts, please do me a huge favor and give it a listen.